Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Rockauto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. And by Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist.
This is Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. If you've got a flatbed, maybe a camper, a cargo trailer, it's probably got electric brakes on it. And Byron, if you have electric brakes, what do you need to make it work?
You have to have a brain to talk to them. You have to have a brake control.
And brake controls are sometimes built into the truck and built into the vehicle. Kind of traditionally, the way, if they're not built in, is you stick something up under the dash, and that can make things complicated, especially when it comes to hooking up. How difficult can that be?
A lot of vehicles have the harnesses in already, but if you don't have it, you do have to get into the vehicle wiring. It's invasive, can be expensive. You have to have a 12-volt line run through the vehicle out to the plug. Anymore with the complexity of some of the vehicles with electronics, computer systems, a lot of people don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that, so that means I need an Autowbrake. So tell me how Autowbrake has solved the problem of having to do all that complicated wiring and labor-intensive stuff.
So we've taken everything that would be an electric brake control, we put it in one box, and we put it on the trailer, taking everything out of the vehicle. All the trailers that have electric brakes, they're going to have 5 wires, brake, power, ground, and lights. And those are on all the electric brake trailers, so you just match these with the corresponding wires on the trailer. This can mount anywhere. Most people go right on the frame, but the beauty of it is you can mount at any angle. You can get creative, put it in a cabinet, put it under a toolbox, put it really wherever you like. And once it's on there, it's monitoring itself 100% of the time while you're towing. It's waiting for a trigger. The trigger's brake lights, so when the brake lights apply, the unit says, I need to stop, the same way the vehicle's stopping.
You say it the same way. If I'm jamming on the brakes, it's going to mimic what's going on inside my brake.
Correct. It's called proportional braking, so it's going to do just what you're doing with the vehicle with the braking.
And why is it so much easier to hook up when it's on the trailer? How do the wires connect there for the uninitiated?
So for someone like me, I only have 5 wires, and they're pretty easy to diagnose. We always tell people, don't rely on color codes, though, rely on function. But you've got a brake line, you've got your power, your taillights, and a ground. And so you match those up accordingly, you're good. Most of those trailers have a junction box on the trailer tongue, so you can access them easily, but they can be anywhere. I had a camper where I had one under the seat inside the dinette area.
But you can still put this in there because it would know it is its home.
You
and
can,
be all set to
exactly, yeah, and that's one of the nice things, the versatility of it.
And now I think you need to run a 12-volt line from the tow vehicle to make everything work. So how do you manage that?
So your power on there is going to run off your 12-volt line on the trailer. If you don't have a vehicle that has 12-volt power, and this is the market that's kind of gravitated towards this, a lot of these people are towing these teardrop trailers, these small single axle. They're towing them with a smaller vehicle that only has a 4-way flat plug. That does not have a 12-volt line. So if you're going to use any other controller, you have to have that installed, except with this. And what you can do, there's a couple of options. Most vehicles, you can run this wire on the trailer over to lights. Most vehicles will work just by turning on your lights manually. That'll give this power, and it works just the same.
Once it's installed, then how do we calibrate it? How do we show it how to work?
Great question. So the first thing you're going to do is figure out where your wires are, right, and plug all that in. And then secondly, you're going to calibrate it. You're going to hold these 2 buttons on. That light's going to flutter just the way it did. And now it understands this is my new home. This is level.
So it's bolted down and level and...
Correct,
okay.
Yep, and you can mount it anywhere you want. After that, you'll select your setting, and you could go 1, 2, and 3 axle. They're all weight-based, but I always tell people it's easy to remember. Single axle, I'm going to go on setting 1. Double axle, I'll go on setting 2. And you do that by one person either holding the brakes down, or you can use your hazard lights, time it to that. You're going to hold that button down for a second, and right now it's showing it's on setting 1. It's going to blink a series of 3 times. I'm going to change it up to setting 2, same thing. Now it's on setting 2, it's blinking 2 times, 3 times in a row. Once you do that, you're set. It's on setting 2. Comes with this key fob. And the key fob does 2 things. Let's say I loan you my trailer and you're driving, you want maybe a little bit more braking force. While you're driving and braking, you can go plus or minus within that setting. So you're holding the brakes down, push +1, push +2. That will go up or down accordingly.
Which is great for overlanders who are going over rough terrain. You don't want your trailer passing you.
Great,
so
yeah.
Increase the brake pressure on that.
Yeah, and they might be, crawling over some pretty nasty things, or they just want to apply the trailer brakes but not the vehicle brakes, and that's what this will allow you to do as well. So while you're driving and not braking, you'll hold any or all those buttons down, and that's going to apply your trailer brakes, and it'll feel like a slow ABS. It'll be like a thump, 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 thump. You get some trailer sway, that'll straighten your trailer out. One other feature of the fob, Dave, when you're hooking your trailer up, if you want to make sure everything's powered up okay, you could hit any of those buttons, that LED light will come on so you know it's communicating to your brakes.
Cool. And what if I switch from one vehicle to another and the one I switch to already has a brake controller on it?
This will go into a sleep mode the very first time you push the brake pedal to put that vehicle in drive, because it'll pick up on that signal coming from the other brake unit.
When it comes to working with electric brakes, the Autowbrake does all the work for you. Super simple. It's going to make your towing a lot safer. You can find it at getautobrake.com. There's a W in there. Don't forget that. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com right around the corner. And oh, by the way, Motorhead of the Week on the way. You don't want to miss that.